I'm getting defensive? No, you're getting defensive. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails. Today, we've got the best 5v5 defensive teams. We've also got, released at the exact same time, the best 5v5 offense team. Surprise! We've been doing this for a while now, and just talking about the new meta and what things you should place. And it's always a little bit different, so probably worth tuning in, linking your guild, donating all your money to Xaereth. Just kidding. But seriously, that might be a thing. So I also put this video out the day before this current video is released. I'll link it in the video description, and it's just a bunch of off-meta teams that we used on offense to delete the teams, Galactic Legends. It's I don't know. In my opinion, it's pretty cool being able to use all these off-meta things. Lots and lots and lots of cool tech out there for it. And guys, couldn't explore all that tech without my patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for all your support, guys. Truly, you are all inspirations. And guys, remember, if you want to join the Patreon, we also have an arena bot that will tell you immediately after you've been attacked. It'll just DM you via Discord. It's a good time, guys. And if you want to support the channel for free, just remember to mount the algorithm, guys. It's a thing. We're trying to get to 20,000 by the end of the year. Probably won't happen, but let's try. Let's give it the old college try, shall we? Now, let's get to the game. That's not the game. I mean, it's the game, but it's not the game. There's the game. Wow. Whoa, madness. It's the game. No one saw that coming. Let's get to it. So, we're using my alt account here, folks. Just I told you in the offense teams video that we're, instead of my main account, which has all the toys and everything, all the cool stuff, I decided to use a smaller account. I realized that my GP has just ballooned a lot, but I still don't have that many Galactic Legends on this account, and frankly, there's not a ton of overlap between the Galactic Legend teams and what I'm going to be using anyways. So I'm going to show you the more basic teams here, right, on this account, and then we'll go to my main account and I'll show you the more advanced teams for both offense and defense. On my offensive teams video, I covered what the best version of each Galactic Legend is going to be, so make sure to check that out, of course, as well, linked in the video description. So yeah, we're not going to talk about the GLs right now, but this account does have Jabba and it does have Rey, and honestly, Amelin Holdo, it just makes me laugh because first off, they don't acknowledge that she's an admiral. All the other admirals, they're like Admiral Trench, Admiral Piet. She's just Amelin, and if you really read it strangely, it looks like it says a million Holdo. It's like there's a million of them. Gosh, may as well do the Holdo maneuver a little bit to just decrease the excess population. So, anyways, I do have Ben on this team. I put an Omicron on him, guys. It's gonna be interesting for sure. This is probably the version I'm gonna run because I don't have a good L3 to go with it. You guys will have to check that out. So, all right. First off, I suppose we need to make a quick foray into data Crons here, guys. And there's the kind of thick Crons have returned. We have the Jedi one that takes less damage when they have 50% or more turn meter. They reduce their damage taken by 75%. And so, I mean, that's what's going to happen with General Skywalker. Similarly, they have one exactly the same for Rebels, and then they have one that just over time boosts their defense, stacking to 200%. But the reality is, the way they applied it, the math of it, makes this such a crazy one. It's not 200% defense, it's like 1200% defense. It is an insane number, and you should try to stock up on as many of those as you guys can. I kind of slept on them earlier, and I'm really trying to make up for it now. So that by that I mean I have one on this account, and it's not even level 9 yet. But let's go back to squads, because on defense here we have General Skywalker, and he's going to be on defense because of that specific Cron. Now, the thing that I should point out, and this isn't something I had made a team for, but it is kicking around, at least at the top levels, is if someone has a high level Gar, Saxon, and ISC, if they put a a huge amount of tenacity on that squad, then they can duo, just two-man this entire squad, just because of the update the ISC got. The caveat being they have to get to like 180% tenacity or something, and the easy fix for that, and I haven't done it yet on this account, but would be to get a bunch of potency, more than this. This is just 15%. That's just from it's just a nod from having 2 potency crons, but you need a significantly bigger amount of potency, and that way you can daze them. But this team is just pretty annoying because Skywalker is going to be really tough to kill sometimes, and so I'll put them on defense because they don't get good offense banners anyway, so they don't counter that much. And plus, like the raid teams that I would normally want to counter with them, or Malgus they might be able to do, but against Rey, that they're just going to, Rey's just going to have that 200% defense cron anyway, so on defense, probably just gets smashed by a lot of stuff, but that's what the plan is for right now on General Skywalker. Malgus, I still think you shouldn't split them up, not in 5s at least. I'm considering keeping them for offense. Don't be too surprised if I pivot halfway through the season, but, a lot of people are going to have Jedi Cal, and they're going to want to use Cal to Cal Darth Malgus and all that, but a lot of people don't know what the hell they're doing either, and they don't have good teams, and they're probably going to kill Malgus and then time out against you, potentially. So just keep in mind, this team is still good on defense, potentially sliding over to offense here pretty soon, depending on if we can find a good, consistent role for a team that has this much bulk to it. Because, there's a lot of relics, a lot of investment. Hard to say, like, oh yeah, I just used it on my opponent's, like, Geo's team or something. Like, you want more value from the team than that. Now, for defense, you remember I showed you guys my offensive seer team. If you want to put them on defense, you probably need to put crew on the team. Otherwise, you just get you just get Leia, you get Gid made pretty easily. But with crew here, really, if you have the Malicos Cron on defense, you don't want the Malicos Cron on defense. This team could actually be a fairly annoying team if you just put the 200% defense Ufu Cron on it. Probably worth looking into at the very least. But yeah, this is probably the version I would put on defense. It'll be okay. It's so much more fun. Malicos is a really fun character for offense, so I struggle to keep him on defense, even though I acknowledge that he is very strong on defense currently. Now, CLS, he can kill Jabba right now, and so he's probably worth keeping on offense sometimes. Honestly, if you can get the Cron that has reduced damage on Rebels, this team is going to be really good on offense and defense. Gosh, this team is going to be so obnoxious to try to kill if it has that Data Cron. And against the Hutts, when there's a thermal that's going to explode, they already have 100% turn meter, so when it explodes, it just does 25% damage is all. And so this squad does a lot of good stuff. If you have, I'm going to be putting it on defense a lot this season with the defensive Cron, and it's going to mess with people. Now, the Adrad team, the ideal squad, in my opinion, is going to be K2SO and Baze. I realize, though, we're going to need to have relict characters on this squad, because the reason you want to put, if you're going to put Adrad on defense, it's because it's going to be obnoxious to deal with, and that obnoxiousness is going to come from the fact that you have the reduced damage Datacron. Otherwise, you want to keep him for offense and kill awesome stuff. So, really fun squad on offense, also very effective on defense if you have the right Datacron. And you have to put something on defense, guys. On defense, so you can, there's 2 different builds with Qui-Gon. The best version is going to be with Kenobi and Snips. Snips she gets crazy fast, hits really hard. Kenobi, like this team kind of Prince wins, and they have a really cool Datacron in the in either version, like the reduced damage one, so people just can't kill Qui-Gon, and slowly over time they just melt you with huge hits from Ki-Adi-Mundi. Or you can also use the Datacron that boosts their offense by 20% every time they get the Foresight, which they get Foresight a lot on this squad, and they destroy people. Now, if you need Kenobi and Snips for other things, which I don't blame you for, because they're really good, if you do that, though, then you can just put your leftover Galactic Republic Jedi. Remember, it needs to be Galactic Republic Jedi, and if you want a good Datacron, like Plo Koon is just not going to make the cut. Really going to try to relic him before this is all over, folks, because we're going to have old Ben go over with Leia probably after a while. So, does Mace live here now? Probably not. But I don't really... this is a good defense team. The other thing to keep in mind, guys, you still need to make them very fast if you want to get wins. Otherwise, Bad Batch will still just demolish this team. So you need to have your characters, at least a couple of them, faster than your opponent's Echo. And that means Ki-Adi-Mundi, remember, he's plus 80, because he's in a stance that gives him plus 20, and then he gets 30 from Qui-Gon's lead and 30 from his Zeta. These other two get 60 because they're not in the same stance Ki-Adi-Mundi is in, even though they should just learn from him. They should be like, hey, Mr. Conehead, sir, can you please teach us that stance so we can be faster? And he's like, yeah, that's actually pretty smart of you. You are pretty fast mentally, so here's how to do the stance. You can be fast physically as well. So, but they're kind of dumb, in fact, so they don't ask him, and therefore they're only plus 60 speed, and so you want him to be pretty quick, though. Here, how fast is my Ki-Adi-Mundi? Plus 80? Yeah, so he is, a 373 right now, and that's faster than the majority of Echoes. So he's just going to one-shot someone. He's just going to pwn noobs, and it's going to be a wonderful, delightful thing for people who aren't me. Now, if you want to put this team on defense, I told you a little bit while we talked about this one when we were on our offensive teams video. This team is hard to predict because if you put it on defense, you don't have access to Newt to make your Grievous team stronger on offense. However, I mean, this version probably just gets killed by Wampa. Honestly, guys, you could put him, I don't even know, I think if you have Watt on the team, Wampa won't kill you, but then you have Watt on this team, man. I mean, what are you doing? You need to go home and get some death sticks. It's probably an important part of rethinking your life. Now, if I have Supreme Leader Kylo once right before lock, if I can unlock Supreme Leader Kylo, I'll probably just try to throw him on defense as well with this team, even if I can't get him to relics, just to mess with people. He'll have like 1 or 2 Zetas at most, and it'd probably take the place of OG Kylo is who it would be. But yeah, this team does okay on defense. Just keep in mind, it's not going to do that much. Honestly, this is just one of those teams that keep your opponents honest. If you happen to have the inadvisable First Order TIE Pilot Omicron, you could throw it on here and it would probably do better. But yeah, everyone needs some defensive filler teams in the middle. Once you're a pretty even with a bigger account, you still need some teams that are like, yeah, they probably won't get many holds this season. I like to put Traya on defense, guys, and if you don't need Savage for anything, man, this team people need a Galactic Legend to kill it. They just do, and if they try to kill it with something else, they almost always fail. There's not really a high win rate from any other team out there against this other than Galactic Legends. So on defense, it's great. On offense, it doesn't kill Galactic Legends. It kills basically everything else, as you might have kind of foreseen that going. The Sortie squad, haven't quite decided. If you're not going to put Sortie with Rey, I guess there's a few weird teams. Like, you can put Sortie with, like, Lord Vader, I've seen. There's some really awkward things you can do with Sortie. Like, you can even put her with Leia. But instead, I'm going to be putting her with Lobot and my L3, who does not have relics, so we can't even put a Datacron on. And this team will just get melted by Bad Batch, almost certainly. But in the off chance that they've already lost their Bad Batch to my amazing Qui-Gon team, because they didn't foresee how fast that team could be, then this team will probably still get melted just by a different foe. It's not a very good team, folks, but It'll take people by surprise, and honestly, between Sortie and Lobot, if you can make Lobot just a little bit fast, the combo of those two will in fact kill a lot of teams that you aren't expecting, because Lobot takes so many turns and does some interesting things with them. He's not a great character, but he goes okay with Sortie. Now Geos suck, so probably don't put those on defense, or do if you want. So Ewoks on defense. The thing is, with Nisa here, and if you have the Omicron, this team, if you make your Paplu really fast, they can do some cool stuff. Honestly, you really can do some cool stuff. I don't expect them to do that much, but honestly, like this is the kind of team that, I mean, if you can get the Cron for them, that transforms this team. And honestly, like I said, I'm probably going to put them on defense just because we need filler. And if someone wants to get brave and try to use Nest, sometimes Nest will just time out against this, frankly. And then this is what the Zori team would look like if I wanted to run Zori. I know Resistance Hero Finn may or may not be on that raid team, but then, guys, if you want to run the best version of Zori squads, you need Rose. She makes that team way better. Now let's go to my main account and I'll show you a few more advanced builds that I'm going to be running. Alright, here we are, folks. So we've got, Tuscans. You can see Raider has his Omicron. That doesn't apply in 5v5, unfortunately, but they probably just keep them for offense at this point, guys. They don't have their Datacron anymore. The Datacron made them crazy strong in both game modes. Right now, they just get Gid made really, really hard, and for no really like gain for that. You know, for the most part, they'll do some okay stuff sometimes. On offense, they'll kill like a Zori team. Sometimes they just get totally blown away though, depending on who the Zori team focuses down. Speaking of Zori, this is the best version of Zori, and I can't decide, folks, if I'm going to be putting an Omicron on Chirpa on this account before GAC Lock or one on Rose. This team is almost certainly, if I put one on Rose, I'm definitely going to be putting them on to defense. You need a pretty fast Hero Finn, and then the squad just does a lot of really cool stuff on defense and deletes people and gets unlimited turn meter from Rose. It's a pretty cool thing. It's a pretty neat thing. It'd be nice if we could get Rose's hot sister in the game, and then we could replace Rose with her, but unfortunately, folks, it's not to be. Not for now. So otherwise, we've got the fully relict, the Phoenix team. They'll beat some Lord Vader squads. If someone's foolish enough to take a Lord Vader squad without Maul, this team will just totally destroy it. This team will beat Inquisitors pretty well. This team will beat Jabba pretty consistently if you have a modded right, which I still need to mess with my modding. It's not all the way there. And yeah, the team does well for the most. Without the Datacron, they're still going to be good. They won't be quite as transcendent, but man, this team is super duper fun with the Omicron on Rex. And they are a very strong squad now, finally. And then we have Aphra, and she she will beat about half of the Galactic Legends right now. And half, that's loosely termed, because honestly, Lord Vader, yeah, she'll beat Lord Vader. She'll beat weak versions of Lord Vader. Sometimes she'll be able to kill the majority of a Lord Vader squad, and then you just clean them up. Other times, you face a really strongly modded or high relic Lord Vader squad, and you get some bad RNG, and you can just be deleted off the team. And remember, guys, against Jabba, she does beat Jabba pretty easily at this point. This is another off-meta counter against Jabba. I have a couple of Omicrons on her. Probably want to get the third one to make it even more consistent, but if you want to do that, you can take B2 with her, and poor Grievous have to sit on the bench at that point, because B2 is pretty important to what Grievous is doing. But this team does a very good, very credible job, and Darth Vader is like, hey, this is awesome, I have a role here. So it's a win-win for everyone. CG needs to release a dark side tank that goes with Aphra. Dark side tank droid is what we need. So the Pets team just sits on defense. I'm not going to probably be using the CLS squad on my main account, and so probably just throw Chewbacca on there and Chewpio. Note that we're keeping Vandor Chewie for the Dash team. That's going to be a pretty important distinction, but yeah, this team does pretty well on defense. Honestly, it's been getting me a lot of holds in 3s, and in 5s it got a lot of holds as well. People just don't expect pets to they're like, who armed their pets? That is insane. Why would someone do that? Now we have the Star Killer squad here, guys, and there's nothing that different about it, except I do have Plo Koon up and running on this account, and you want some output from your Jedi, guys. I know a lot of people are saying, hey, you just use Juhani and you're good to go, and yeah, you can, in theory, but Juhani is worthless, man. She is so awful in GAC. She's just the worst, and I would rather have some value from my Jedi, which Plo Koon offers in the form of dispels and turn meter boosts for the whole team. So, yeah. Not to mention his ship is pretty fantastic, and some of his counters that they use for him, in fact, require him to be a Relic 7 or 8, which I know that's not something everyone's going to go for. But finally, on offense, I have the Nisa Cron, folks, and this team, if I put the Omicron on Chirpa, and I need to speed up Peplu if I do that, then we should be able to start killing like Galactic Legends with these guys, a few Galactic Legends at least. So keep that in mind. On offense, this team is going to be just going to fly around and destroy people. Even though I'm going to have some Relic 3s to clean up, we'll get there eventually, guys. So that's it. What do you want to run on defense? What did I miss? I'd be very interested to hear, guys. Check out my offensive teams video. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.